Let's talk about the silent killer that impacts every aspect of our life, yet goes unnoticed. Stress. So it's more than just a bad day or a fleeting moment or even anxiety. It's really just a conglomeration of mental, emotional, spiritual, physical stressors that then erodes on our health, our happiness, and our overall quality of life. And let's face it, stress is not going away, so we better figure out how to manage it. My name is Dr. Erica Steele. I am a holistic doctor. I'm a board-certified naturopathic doctor. I hold 6 degrees in my field. They're all in the natural healthcare space, and I went to school so you don't have to. And one of the things that we really I work with my patients on is stress and stress management and how to effectively manage that. So if you're new to my channel, I teach you how to live a holistic lifestyle. We'll explore strategies, not just to cope with stress, but also to thrive in spite of it. So the first thing we're gonna do is I really wanna talk about really understanding what we're dealing with. Because again, I alluded to this, it's not just a mental health issue or an emotional health issue or a physical issue. It can disrupt your sleep patterns. It can affect your sleep quality. It can affect your mood. It can affect your hormones, your nervous system, your work production. You can now, if you're stressed, you don't have a lot of energy, you throw that off to the side and you're eating whatever, which is not going to work. And so we really want to make sure that we are able to be self-aware enough to identify when we become stressed, right? Because sometimes we're so stuck in fight or flight and we're so stuck in survival mode that we really just tune out everything and we get the job done. We go in tunnel vision. And unfortunately, if you've had any kind of developmental trauma or you've had trauma in your childhood, your brain is actually wired more for that stress response. So you have a tendency to take on more, to overgive, have boundary issues. The list goes on and on and on. And so we need to make sure that we learn how to effectively manage stress techniques. So I'm going to go over a few of them just so that you have them and you know what you can go to. And remember, this is a journey and this is a practice. If you want to learn more, I do have some really affordable online courses, 30 days to emotional healing. And then if you want to work one-on-one with me where we can really break it all down and look at it, go ahead and click the link in my bio below. So let's just talk about some simple ones. All right, so I'm a big believer in finding your breath. And what do I mean by finding your breath? The tendency is when we have a stressful situation, the tendency is to freak out and immediately, hold our breath because we're bracing for impact. It's almost if we cannot fully digest our emotions, so we hold our breath. And then when somebody tells us it's over and we're relaxed, we go, The unfortunate part is when you have a stressful situation or a stressful life or a stressful marriage or a stressful financial picture, you don't have somebody over your shoulder telling you, okay, this drama and trauma is done, and now you're waiting for the next one. And in fact, a lot of times we get in this cycle of constantly chasing the next stress response, almost feeling like the rug is going to be pulled out from under us. That's why a lot of times when I work with patients, sometimes they're like, this is so weird. When I'm just relaxing, my heart rate is skyrocketing and going up. Just when everything is going fine, I find myself getting nervous. I find myself getting scared. I find myself getting anxious. Why would that be, right? That's such a flip switch. And the reason being is because with trauma brain, again, if you have any developmental trauma, and even if you don't, even if you've had just a difficult situations in your life, betrayal or, any sort of some of these insidious human experiences that, we learn from and we grow from and we prosper from, but they really do take a toll on us mentally and mentally and emotionally. It can almost leave like debris around that we have to then process even once the situation is over. So I like to find my breath. That way it just reminds me that blood is flowing through my veins. We don't have to do any fancy types of breathing, have to do it perfect or do it a right way. There's none of that. It's really just finding your breath and consciously breathing in and out and just really getting present. And you will find just by really getting present and conscious to your breath, that's going to slow the heart rate down. That's going to slow the stress responses down. You can add an affirmation. I used to add an affirmation of I'm safe, and that just used to really help me. Now, sometimes it was challenging to get to that point, but I can tell you that it was once I got the hang of it, okay, you're safe, you're safe, you're safe. It may seem like a bear is chasing you when in fact it's really just, a wild lion. So anyway, so that's the first really technique that I will teach you. The second technique, now that you're a little bit more self-aware, now if you're not self-aware, I do recommend journaling. We do have a course, 30 days to journaling, and it does give you journal prompts and get you really into the habit of journaling. I definitely recommend that tool. It is very helpful, and it can help you if you really, I work with people that are like, I don't even know what to write. So this gives you a little bit of a framework just so you can start bringing stuff up, because sometimes if you're shut down or you're dissociated because of whatever has happened to you, the tendency is not to know what to say, or if you were never given permission to express yourself or communicate, then of course it's going to feel awkward, or if you even have the sensation at all to be able to express. So just be gentle with yourself in this area. There's no, don't force yourself to heal. Like that is counterintuitive and counterproductive to the healing process and can really hinder you in the long term. So be mindful of that, about that. Be really gentle. Okay, so you're self-aware, you've been journaling, you're finding your breath. Now you're really looking at some of your belief systems. So there's your internal belief system and what you believe about yourself to be true, known as your self-concept, how you see yourself in the world. And then there's also your self-identity, right? So how you identify and how you want to be seen or show up in the world, etc. And so there's these two dueling components. You have a relationship. You have who you are by yourself. You have who you are in your relationship. You have who you are in your friendships. You have who you are at work, your parenting. Pick an area of your life. It doesn't have to be an actual physical relationship. It could be your relationship with money. And so we look at those components and we dissect your beliefs. And from there, as we're dissecting those beliefs, what's amazing is you start to get a sense of the nervous system's reactions and the nervous system's responses. That's a lot of somatic healing and breathing into the body and the body sensations, coupled with conscious communication that really teaches you how to acknowledge and validate what you're feeling and then reframe it. Again, very similar to EFT, but now you're using, the meridian system, because those emotions get trapped in your body, the energy, the frequency behind it, so it gets that moving as well. And so there's all these different components, there's all these different tools in your tool bag, and really the concept is getting as many tools in the tool bag as you possibly can, because stress comes in so many forms. Again, we've talked about it. It can come in physical stress, right? Not being able to move, not being stiff, being, in pain, suffering, having a chronic disease. It can come mentally, being nervous, anxious, depressed, unmotivated, etc. Always kind of, in that kind of ADD, ADHD, neurodivergent brain, right? And so, and not feeling like you're able to get out of it. There's also fluctuations with weight if you use food as a tool for your stress and your stress management, and you're always going in and out and eating, and then it's sabotaging your weight loss goals and your metabolic goals, and now you're developing chronic diseases as a response to that, that's an area. Or you have a family and you want to teach them, how to manage stress well. You want to teach your kiddos how to recognize their emotions, how to be self-aware. You want to teach them good coping strategies because you want to break cycles, in your family. And then lastly, you're a high-level professional and the stress is stressing, and you really need to focus in, get some systems and processes in place, get some clarity, get some movement, operate on, optimal all cylinders. I can definitely help you with that. And if you just want to follow along on our holistic life journey, thank you guys so much for attending. Like, share, subscribe, and check out all of the fun links below.